Good evening, everybody. Well, we've done it. Me and Dead Bob over here. We bought tickets. All aboard. We're going to crazy Wilcock land. We've done it now. I hope we come back, First off, who is David Wilcock? David Wilcock is best known for his small little tiny role on Ancient Aliens. He's a New York Times bestseller. He's got a YouTube channel that has 483,000 subscribers. Let me say this again, because this is going to be very, very important. He has 483,000 subscribers. All right, so let that sink in. So he's got a following. Other things that you probably didn't know about David is he has a huge ego that matches that great big forehead of his. They're very in common, in touch with each other. David claims he's a spiritual warrior. We're going to dispute that tonight. He's got a lot of loyal fans out there. He's got a lot of people that watch his 5-hour Fantasyland bozo crazy shows where he just rambles and rants and talks craziness. David Wilcock is also the sole reason that we have ever even heard the names Corey Good and Emery Smith. And if you don't know who they are, you're lucky. So, David also claims that he is a psychic, and that's what he did for his source of income for a long time. He did readings on people. But I just want you guys to understand what we're dealing with here. This guy plays into the camera. He's an actor. And the first clip I'm going to show you is a parody of David Wilcock. And I want you to check it out so you kind of get a full understanding, if you don't know who this man is, what this man is. Are you ready? And here we go.
Why are you guys cherry picking a tiny little subset of the data? Cherry pick a little bit, and you look for the most negative stuff you can find, and then you amplify it. And your hair's on fire like Beaker. Oh my God. Come on, man. I got a lot of heckling and a lot of hate. So all you haters out there, I got 45 years of tolerating this stuff. No big deal. I take that back. When we go back, we'll edit that part out. No, we can't do that. It's Slack. The quadrigays, yes. But nothing gay is going to happen. It's only a title. Anyway, wow, I got to stop. There's these natural things all throughout the world, and it rolls into a ball, and now it's got all this energy, and it's anti-gravitic. The charge cluster is where you're shooting electrical current down a very sharp needle. It pops off the end of the tip, and it also will deradiate radioactive material. And even poltergeists, apparently many poltergeist phenomena are these same kind of orbs. And I know it's a lot of information. There is a little thing on the side. If you're watching this after I've done it, you click on that little gear shift on YouTube, and playback speed, you can set it to 0.75 and slow my crazy ass down. And then maybe you'll understand this more because you'll have more time to process. Gravity is flowing into this area of space, and inside the area, inside the sphere, gravity is turning into electromagnetic energy. And electromagnetic energy is turning into gravity. And what is light? You have to use the orgasmic energy, apparently. There's something about the orgasmic energy. Rub-a-dub-dub, 4 minutes. I'm not even going to go there, okay? I made up the story that you've probably heard if you watch my old videos. You start to feel bad inside. But then, as there is an implosion of your external reality, there is an explosion of your internal reality. Just like the physics is called reciprocal system, it's the reciprocal between space and time. And that's where all this power comes from. Okay, it's about the power. People can meditate and use black magic and get it to work. It's about the will. It's about the focused direction of the will. Where like you're like somebody smoking a cigarette and their hand is moving slow and the smoke is moving too slow, and then other people's voices sound like, that kind of stuff. Apparently you can detect that with these little magnetic tuning forks. The magnets come together more and, oh, there we go, there's one. And that's what the ETs know. There is a monster under the bed. You can look at it if you want to, but it's really going to gross you out and you're probably going to want to puke. Honest to God. This is true, folks. You need to stop this shit. Some things I don't mind talking about. I don't like talking about this. What the hell are you doing, dude? You're going to lose. You're not going to win. It's inevitable. We already know because the future timeline is fixed. This particular timeline that we're on leads to your defeat. There is no getting around that. You are not being in integrity, but you don't care. But if you don't do this, we are screwed, man. You think this is all natural? You think nobody's coordinating any of this stuff?
About enough of that. All right. So first, what you just saw was the enigma that is known as David Wilcock. He is a big-time cuckoo nut. He pushes things like the QAnon theory. And actually, what he does is he takes all the well-known conspiracy theories and turns them in to fit his little conspiracy theory. It's just a complete regurgitation of all the conspiracy theories that are out there. He claims that he gets these briefings from the Alliance, and what they do is they're fighting the dark cabal, evil Illuminati people in the world. And I'm not saying that they're not real, because there is a dark aspect to whoever is the ruling elite, we should say. But David Wilcock would not be one person that's getting any briefings from anybody. He gets stories. Stories. This guy is hooked on fantasy. He can read a book, and then it'll be, that author was channeled. The aliens channeled him, and they told him what to say, so you can watch it on your television. Get the out of here, Mr. Wilcock. You are batshit crazy. And 483,000 subscribers listen to this man's complete bullshit. It is sad, but what is even more depressing is when you watch him beg for your money. Because, David Wilcock he needs all your money. Donate to him so he can keep fighting the cabal. Well, I don't believe anything you say. Is that why you're such a spiritual warrior that drives around $100,000 cars and lives in $1 million mansions? Very spiritual of you there, David. Let's check this out. Here's another aspect to David that you probably didn't know. And if you did, it's just fun to watch. David claims to have channeled Ra, the sun god, the Egyptian sun god. And this was a long time ago. And apparently, Ra delivered a message through none other than this guy. If you even choose to believe that sort of thing. I don't. I think this guy is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and needs to take a short walk. I think needs to take a long walk off a short pier. He is a danger man. This guy takes people's hard-earned money, sells them some crap, and lets them believe these little fairy tales. I think the guy's fraudulent. He's a con. But here's David channeling Ra.
I am Ra. It is an honor and a privilege to greet you this day in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. Resonant raindrops of liquid light cascading down in a panoply of shapes and colors, unbeknownst to the conscious mind. The world of energy that you dance through may be invisible to your physical eyes of the...
I just got dumber. I just got dumber. I mean, you know, back then, he channeled Ra. Then, he claimed to be the incarnate of Edgar Casey. And what happened, he went to, I guess Edgar Casey has a museum of all the work in the family, I guess, runs it. Well, they invited him down to test him to see if he was Edgar Casey reincarnated. And they, not so politely, told him to stop saying that because very quickly they knew that this man was completely and utterly full of shit. He tries to build his empire off of others. Facts, okay? Nothing that this man has ever said is original. There are as many people that came before him and claimed all sorts of crap. And then what he does is he'll listen to somebody's full of shit story and believe it. And I'll tell you, I'm going to use an example here. Corey Goode, all right? Apparently, Corey Goode and David Wilcock went to the movies and they saw Jupiter Ascending. And they're watching this movie, and there was this part where this alien came about, right? And David Wilcock's looking over and he sees Corey Goode's reaction. Oh my God, look at that. And Corey's like, or David says to Corey, he goes, what gives, man? Why the reaction? And Corey Goode, with his mullet, looks at him and says, just reminds me of what they look like. And he said, at that moment, I knew Corey was telling the truth. What? Is that how you vet your people? You take them to movies and you see how they react? Come on, man. Like, you are the ultimate con. You are a snake oil salesman at best. But now, you are channeling the Archangel Michael. How the hell does that work? 15 years ago, you were channeling Ra. Then you were Edgar Casey's reincarnate. And now, you're talking to archangels. I think God would have a problem with that. And you claim to be a Christian, but you're fanatical about the law of one. I mean, think about that, folks. How's that work? I mean, this is David Wilcock. Like, this is what he does. It's whatever's good for the moment. And if you try to ruin this man's moment, you know what you get? Cease and desist. Cease and desist. And then he'll dox you. And then he'll try to sue you. Well, I would love to be sued by him because everything I'm saying is true. And he would have to prove in a court of law all the crazy Buck Rogers stories. I want to see proof. I want to see proof. Beings are giving him messages. And he's got these dream journals, right? And apparently for years and years and years, he's been writing these prophecies down. Well, he made a prophecy about 2012 that everybody was going to be levitating and we're going to move on to these final phases of ascension and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. Obviously, you're not levitating there, Mr. Wilcock. So, people that give this man your hard-earned money, think about reality. Don't fall into Wilcock's trance. Think about reality. He is always wrong. Yeah, you could throw enough shit on the wall, and some of it's going to stick. Sure. But for the most part of this man, he is a fraud that is he's not even creative. I mean, he just steals from other people what he thinks will work for his next bit. Facts. I mean, come on, man. This guy was sitting here claiming he was channeling freaking Ra. Doesn't work, man. Doesn't work. Let's check this out. This is how delusional this man is. I'm going to play you a clip of something, and this is in regards to DMT.
Turns out that DMT crystals, each time you hit it with a hammer, you're going to get different colored light flashes. So these little crystals, they can vibrate and release photons in a full color spectrum, and you have them inside your pineal gland.
So that's how you're seeing what your soul wants to see. There's a silver cord from your pineal gland to your astral body. You're looking at things with your astral body. That's what remote viewers are doing. We all have it. It goes through the silver cord, which is like a little stargate, into your pineal gland. It vibrates the DMT crystals that everybody has. And then they release colored photons that show what you're seeing. And then the retinal cells in there are actually wired into the visual cortex of the brain.
What they did is they took a big barrel of water and they were able to use, it had to be corpse dust actually, certain types of extraterrestrial beings. They took the corpses of these beings, ground up the dust, because apparently those bodies had a lot more of these types of crystals in them that were so energetic. I guess DMT. That's really crazy, right? You get high on alien corpse dust.
And that clip came from Stina Maria. I think I said her name right. Well, apparently DMT is crushed up alien corpse. That shit's creative, but he didn't come up with that. Somebody told him that. My God. In another life, this guy could have wrote fiction and he would have been the next Stephen King or somebody on that level. But to sit here and try to tell people, what's that, Bob? Bob says he wants some crushed up alien corpse. You're dead, Bob. It's not going to work. He says that he wants to see in the whole full light spectrum. I thought those sunglasses did it for you, Bob. Well, Bob, you tell me where to go to get crushed up alien dust, and I will go get it just for you, my friend. Okay. He says, I can continue now. Think about this, folks. Crushed up alien corpse dust. Has he never studied the chemical makeup of dimethyltryptamine and how it works? Nope. It's alien corpse dust. And some of you people out there give him $333. Whew. Now, Mr. Wilcock is being told by these beings, or was told by these beings, that he is going to be the father, one of the fathers, of anti-gravity. He smoked some of that alien corpse dust. One of these beings came up to, little E.T. came up to him next to Yoda and says,
You're going to be the father of anti-gravity. All you got to do is tell everybody that you can do it, collect their money, and we'll blame it on the deep state.
that's what's going to happen. He says in 1 year he's going to have a working model and he's going to sell you anti-gravitic cars. He is a salesman. He's pretty good at that. He takes everybody to this airplane hangar. And he says, look, folks, I wasn't lying. Here it is. Here's my hangar. This is where we're going to build them. And even better than that, he buys a 3D printing machine, right? And he prints out these shitty-looking toys and tells everybody, this will be the fastest known jet known to man. Like, he lives in Cuckoo Land. His head is so freaking big, he believes he can do this. And I'm never going to say that anybody can do anything, all right? If you put your mind to it, I believe that you can do whatever you want. But the problem is, when you are manipulating people to take their money and claiming that you have all these secret insiders that built secret space programs and built these secret spaceships and they gave you the technology and yada 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 and blah blah blah, and then last year you were telling us Trump was going to win because the beings told you, or you had a prophecy about it, and then you rescinded that shit real quick. I mean, let's think about it. How long is it going to take for people to see that you're full of shit? There is nothing spiritual about you. What, because you sit on a camera and pretend that you're, praying for people, or not even praying for people. You're doing these, okay, let's bathe in the light and in the love. You're full of scrotum sacs, sir. You have no scrotum sac. None. You take people's hard-earned money and promise them shit. You promise them a lot, but what they get is shit. You're a fraud. You're a con man. And I cannot believe the History Channel even thinks about putting you on the TV. First off, I just focus in on that ginormous freaking head of yours, and it matches your ego. You know, I encourage everybody to go watch one clip of David Wilcock, and the first 15 minutes is just all about David Wilcock. And yes, I'm a New York Times bestseller. You've probably heard of me from the likes of Ancient Aliens. My name has been Googled 150 million times. It was up there with Bush and Clinton and blah, 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 blah. And my IQ level is blah, 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 blah. And he claims all this other shit. It's all shit. It's shit. Here is Mr. Wilcock having a very weird dream.
Trump and I are walking along, driving along. He's talking to me. We're having a good conversation. He's being really very fatherly and very very nice, and we're really getting along well.
That got weird. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, he really wants you to believe this shit. I mean, here's another one for you. I'm going to put this clip up. You know, the problem with David is he'll watch something and then he'll watch a movie.
Community, then you're not paying attention. Star Trek apparently was channeled to Gene Roddenberry through a group that he was working with that had started in the 1950s and is part of what we're going to be getting to at the end of this talk. The Star Trek information is very accurate to what actually is known, which is that they do follow a so-called prime directive and they will not interfere with a given planet's history until that planet is ready.
I am dumber. I am dumber after even talking about this guy. And he's a weird looking dude. He's just strange looking. He's even stranger looking now. You could tell that he's had some plastic surgery done. That's all I'm going to say. He went Hollywood. Look. He also claims that he remembers his dreams since he was 2 years old. Folks, do you remember what you dreamed when you were 2? Think about this, man. He claims he's a psychic. He claims that he has briefings with the Alliance insiders and all this shit and shit and shit and shit and shit and shit and shit. He believes that the serial killers in the 70s were not serial killers, that all those people that were butchered weren't done by the serial killers, they were done by the satanic cabal. Come on, man. Those people, those families deserve better than to hear that shit. All right? I can go on and on and on about this guy. I freaking hate this guy. I wish this guy would just... I wish one of those beings would take him up in their craft and they just... gone. Take him to planet Oblivion. And never come back. Because you're stealing my oxygen. I just can't wait, though, till next year. when it comes time for him to have that working anti-gravity car, the hover car. He's going to sell us hover cars. David Wilcock is now going to attempt the feat of anti-gravity. Tesla can't do it. Jeff Bezos can't do it. NASA can't do it. Russia, China, pretty much every country in the world can't do it. But big forehead David's going to do it. But he needs $333 from you. And he's going to tell you how to do it. So you can go out in your backyard here and rub two stones together and build a freaking flying hovering car that uses free technology. Well, here's my problem. Let's pull this guy's skirt up a little more. Don't you think if you were in touch with all these great beings, don't you think they'd lead you to a buried treasure somewhere and say, here's all the money you're going to need. There's, 125 pounds of gold. Go make the world a better place. You'd think with the millions of dollars David Wilcock has made, you'd think he would have done something for, the less fortunate. He has a charity, but all that is for him to make his life a little bit better. If you go to Truth Seekers, he really broke down Wilcock's charitable schemes. This guy's a fraud. He's a Fruit Loop. He's a nutter. I mean, come on, folks. Any of you people out there that listen to this guy, I just showed you just a little tiny bit. Those were just slices out of it. You could spend days watching this guy's crap, and there's just material for days. This is just a very, the tiniest portion of his shit. You could spend a year cutting and editing and showing you all the fallacies and bullshit lies that this man has told people. And it's ridiculous. It goes on and on and on. And if somebody's attacking him or something happens, it's the deep state. It's the cabal. They're coming for him. Nope. Just like, they had to raise money for Emery Smith. And they came up with the cabal was doing something to him, and they were going to take this or some crap. Turns out that the guy had alcohol poisoning and he was in the hospital because he's a freaking drunk. All these guys are drunks. They're drunks. David Wilcock loves his wine. Emery Smith is just a flat drunk. And then he takes this guy, Corey Good, and puts him on stage. I call him the Mullet Man. The Mullet Man, Corey Good. He's a super soldier who traveled in the future to fight aliens or do some shit in Mars, and then they age regressed him and sent him back in time. And Jenny McCarthy put him on her show. It's amazing that people believe them. I mean, shit. I'm going to start coming up with some Buck Rogers shit. That's what I'm going to do. I went to Pluto in a Speedo, and I played soccer with the reptilians, had a campfire next to the Greys, told them they all can kiss my ass. I took over the planet, and then what I did was I rode a Willy Wonka rocket back to Earth and chewed bubblegum and kicked ass. That's what I did. I'm going to make up some crazy creative shit. I can't. I'm not that creative. These guys aren't either. They steal, shit from 70s and 80s books and video games. I mean, think about it. The whole blue chicken cult, the blue avian bird that's this super high being thing that Corey Good claims, that's Falco. That's all that is. It's Falco. I mean, folks, don't be so naive to the people that, follow David Wilcock. Don't give this man a dime of your money. If he is just such this divine person and chosen by the gods, don't you think the gods would make sure he was financially capable? do not give him any more of your money. And if he is, let's say this 1 out of like 500 million chance that he is like in touch with something, they'll find him a way to get him money, I promise. But he's not, folks. He's a con artist. He's a snake oil salesman. That's all he is. That's all he's ever going to be. Don't give him any more of your money. Don't give him any more of your time. Take that power from him. Because you know what? He doesn't deserve it. He prints little toys and thinks he's going to build hover cars. I mean, come on, man. Just from an intelligent point of view, would you give somebody money that creates little toys and says, hey, guess what, guys? I figured out how to work a 3D printer, and I printed these shitty-looking toys. But, man, this one's going to be the fastest plane ever made. But I never studied aerospace. I don't know shit about it, but I'm going to do it. Because I have a really high IQ, and I excel at everything I do. No, you don't. You're a con man. You're a cult leader. Folks, we really need to think about the people we choose to pay attention to and give power to and give platforms to. This guy also claims that the Illuminati offered him hundreds of millions of dollars to join their side, and that they were going to make him the next Alex Jones and all this hoorah. Well, it's okay to take hard-earned money from people, but let me tell you something. If that man was offered any type of money, he would take it any which way he could get it. He's got a platform. His platform is built on lies and taking people that are known bullshit con artists and putting them up on his little crazy stage. That is how he is known, folks. In his bullshit prophecies and his bullshit books. And that ridiculous forehead he's got. Please, for the love of mankind, do not believe anything this horse fuck has to say. Please. He is stealing our fucking air. I hope he gets freaking abducted and taken to freaking La La Land out in the freaking middle of the Andromeda Galaxy, because he's a strain. That son of a bitch. I mean, he would be the type of guy to like, oh, I'm going to walk the old lady across the street. Meanwhile, my hand's going in her purse and I'm stealing her money. And then I'm still looking her in the eye, telling her that she's beautiful. And God told me to come over here and hold her hand and walk her across the street. That's the type of dude he is. He would do that. He takes from look, I'm not going to say weak people because they're not weak people. It's people that are searching for something, and he uses that. They're found now. They found David Wilcock, the spiritual warrior. Get the fuck out of here. There is nothing spiritual about that dude. And then to claim you're a Christian and preach all this shit about the law of one and yada, yada, yada. I mean, I'm sorry, dude. That's called false idol worship. And you're not a Christian. I mean, how can one channel Ra, the Egyptian sun god, then go and say you're Edgar Casey reincarnated, and now you're talking the archangels? How's that work? Just on a whole theological level. What do they all like stay in contact with other? Is it like on Tuesday nights they go to the God bar down the street and they buy each other shots and drinks and they say, hey, we're going to pick that asshole down here with the big freaking forehead that talks a lot of shit. We're going to tell that guy all of our specialty super secrets. But we're not going to give him any way to do it. The people will give him money. Or maybe he's just like some cosmic joke. They're throwing darts at a dartboard. Hey, let's fuck with that little dude down there with the big forehead that thinks he knows everything. Let's go down here and tell him he's going to be this and he's going to be that and watch him fall flat on his face. I mean, think about it. Think about it. The only reason that this guy's got any sort of popularity or notoriety is because he can speak well. And he's very convincing. And he speaks with his hands, and he does this, and he does that, and he tells you some shit that might sound good and you want to hear. And then he goes and he starts crying, and then he brings the face cam for you. Want to see them tears? Because I'm real, and I care. I mean, what the fuck was he talking about? What the fuck was he talking about? He's talking some QAnon shit, and then it's like, dude, look, man, what the fuck happened? Like, does everything just backfire on him? It seems not to be. I mean, he's got 483,000 subscribers. Makes a shit ton of money on YouTube. But people that are out there searching and trying to find your way, and you think this guy is like the second coming. I mean, dude, there is nothing spiritual about David Wilcock. Nothing. All right. Did Buddha live in a mansion? Did Jesus Christ live in a mansion? No. That doesn't make you spiritual. Taking money from people, telling them the next freaking conspiracy theory that you regurgitated that you can't even be creative enough to come up with yourself. The only thing that you can come up with is this alliance. And the alliance would pick you. They would pick you. They would tell you everything. Get the hell out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. You are a toy. Snake oil salesman. And I mean, if you watch his videos, look how he speaks to his wife. It's funny as shit. It's funny as shit. That woman must put up with a lot of shit. That guy is a control freak, narcissist, egomaniac. It's sick. I mean, just go watch his videos and tell me how spiritual David Wilcock is. You know what he would have been good at? I'll tell you. He would have been a really good Joel Osteen. A televangelist. That, you watch. If David Wilcock watches this, you watch. You're going to start seeing him on Sunday mornings. He is born again. You watch. He is touched by the Lord Jesus, and he's going to come for $50, and he's going to pray for you, and he's going to touch and heal you. Now, look, I'm a Christian, but that guy is not. He is not. Far from it. And I'm not saying I'm a perfect Christian. I am. I believe. That's what I'm going to say. I believe. But when I see somebody who uses theology in a really unacceptable way to deceive people and take their money, you have to pull their skirt up and expose their freaking ass. He's a con. He is the cosmic con. Well, folks, this is just, one show we're doing, and we're going to do a couple on them. I've got some other stuff that is pretty messed up. This guy's a piece of shit. So, like, share, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow. Let's find a way to get this dude abducted. Let's find a way. Let's find a way to get him beamed up Scotty. And deported to the moon base. The moon base where Corey Good went and did whatever. Let's get him he can go there. And you can tell him all of his crazy fantasy Buck Rogers stories. Alright guys, that's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. And David Wilcock,